Welcome to Guitar Gallery. It's Stefan and Stefan. Something I haven't said
twice in a while.
But we've been busy. We've had lots of musicians on the couch. But this one is an interesting one. We've just worked out. We had to do it off air. If I take my age and your age, we get to 80.
Yes. And this guitar is almost 80 years old.
This guitar is 70 years old.
Yes.
It's a 1950 D-18.
Yeah.
The spec.
I mean, this thing, this is as close as what I see as the most iconic guitar ever built. This is, according to my books, if someone asks me what is the most important acoustic guitar ever built, I would probably say a Martin D-18, an old one. I'm biased because I like Martins and I like Mahogany, and I want the D-18.
I mean, we spoke about it earlier. I'm definitely, a big HD28 fan. But funny enough, in my head as well, a D18 vintage to me feels like
the real vintage stuff.
If you go and check out some 1950, and I think it's on Carter, is it Carter guitars?
It's also, there's a few nice ones on the North American guitar as well. But Carter vintage guitars as well.
Yeah, Carter vintage guitars. And if you, I don't know, just a D18 just feels like proper vintage. I don't know why it feels more vintage to me than a D28.
Yeah.
And but it's obviously just a perception. Maybe it's that woody.
Yes, I wanted to say it's the Mahogany, because Mahogany, I don't know, Mahogany sounds vintage. Even a new Mahogany guitar sounds old to me. Yeah. So to get an old Mahogany guitar like this, it's just that special. And this one has been played, has been loved. It belongs to a very good friend of ours who's an exceptional player. And
a lot of people have actually met James.
Yes.
And so James is looking to sell this beautiful guitar. I mean, you can't believe that this is a 1950 guitar.
It's crazy.
I mean, I've seen people after a year and thought, what happened? But you can obviously see it's been owned by someone who loved it.
Yes, who cares for it and who plays it musically. And I mean, this guitar, the way James...
Yes,
it's resonating as we're speaking. I mean, the way that James approaches instruments, he's very serious about his stuff, and he's got great tone, and he plays with passion. And I'm not surprised that this guitar belongs to him, because it's a special one. It's not a D18 that you find every day. And I mean, structurally even, the neck angles for an old guitar like this.
And it doesn't have a truss rod that you can adjust.
Yes.
And it's still absolutely perfect.
No, this is as ready as you are.
On the top you can see it's been played. I mean, you want to see that.
Yes.
And interesting, it's got a rosewood fretboard.
Yes.
So James has fitted the guitar with new tuning machines because he prefers that. But the original ones are still in the case.
Yeah, if you want to.
I'm sure it's the original case. I'm not sure it looks like.
It definitely looks like the original.
Looks like a 1950 case.
And just as well looked after as the guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about the sound for a second.
Yeah.
I know the sound gets me going. This guitar it's just vibe for days. It's got an attitude. What I liked about this guitar, I mean, it's, we see, when I think about string bands and people, playing with banjos and fiddles, you always see a guy with a big old dreadnought strumming out
with a strap going to the headstock.
Yes, yes, exactly. Thin string or something.
Yeah.
But these guitars, I mean, the bass is it's a thumpy and boomy, and I mean, it's a bluegrass. James is a very good bluegrass player, and it shows. This guitar has got a thumpy, boomy bass. The bass just goes like pow, wow, wow, and it just really barks at you. And the trebles are super crisp. And when you strum this guitar, I mean, that's my favorite. When you strum this guitar, it's got enough note separation that you can play bluegrass tunes, I mean, individual string melodies, but when you strum it, it's got that, ooh, there we go, that's a D18. It's like that whole sound just becomes, all the strings together just becomes one sound, and it just, it wants to be played like that, eh? So, I mean, this guitar, there's no limit to how loud you can play it. You can play it as hard as you want to. It can eat up all that volume. And it's a very loud guitar. Dreadnought's built for volume. So, I mean, this is a bluegrass player's dream. But because of the age of the guitar, it's also developed so much complexity.
I mean, I want to interrupt you there. I think what's interesting to me is if you buy this guitar, you buy literally a piece of history.
It's a 1950 model, 5-0.
You know how well this will work in a studio.
Oh, definitely. And mahogany guitars record exceptionally well.
So it's just, you know, it's old, but it's still relevant.
Yes, and structurally, you know, the sad thing is that sometimes these guitars are not looked after well enough to be structurally
in this kind of condition.
integrity. Yeah, the structural integrity is compromised, and this is not the case with this guitar. So first of all, to find an old guitar like this, which is structurally still intact, which has been looked after, I mean, and then if they are structurally looked after and it's been looked after beautifully, then they don't go up for sale. So if you find them in the market, it's either you cannot afford them.
And you can go and buy a new one if you want to.
Yeah.
But it's going to be 50 years behind this one.
Yes, and you can never, as time goes, you can never.
That you're younger than 20.
Yeah.
Otherwise, but now when you get to 70, this one is then obviously 100 years old.
You can never catch it up. No, there's something about vintage instruments, and you know, something like the neck profile. It's got a little bit of a V, a more prominent V than you would get on the new Martin. You know, the performance. What do they call it? The low oval C shapes, which I like.
But I don't find this difficult to play.
No, not at all. I like this. It's not a V shape that. It's not a pronounced.
No, not at all. I mean, actually, yeah, it's almost like a soft V.
Yes, I would
almost
say
like a modern V. Nothing close to you know, the HD28V or the old OM28V. This is actually quite a. I mean, now that you mentioned it, I can feel it, but you know, it's quite easy to.
And you know, the nut width on this one, it's still it's proper vintage spec because it's proper vintage. And playing a guitar like this, I mean, it inspires the way, because you know it's old. The sound that you're listening to, you know, this was built in the 1950s. I mean, that's 10 years before my dad was born. It's amazing to hold a guitar like this and to play it. It goes to your head that you know that you're playing an instrument that is this old, and it's inspiring. It's you know, if you're a bluegrass, if you're a Martin fan, you must come play this guitar, because they don't go around too often. You don't see them floating around in South Africa specifically. Not ones this old and this good sounding. So I mean, while it's still in stock, it's up for sale now. I don't think it'll be around for too long. But even I almost want to say, even if you just want to come check it out, if you don't have the money, I'm sorry, I'm giving away your time now. But even if you don't have the money to buy it right now, if you're a dreamer, come check out this guitar. It is something
and kind of save that
special. Yes, just as a reference to you know, if you're playing a new D-18 in a shop one day, or you can compare it to one of ours. I mean, this is a guitar that you want to hear, just to save it in your archives for another day.
Well, if you buy a new one, you'll have to wait 50 years for the sound. But D-18s in general are amazing guitars.
Yes.
I love my Rosewood, but I think a D-18 is really one of the best dreadnoughts out there.
Definitely. There's a reason why it's a classic.
Yeah, you're not going to be lucky for 100 years. I think that's how long I'm not sure how long they've been making I would guess it was from the 30s.
Yes, I think it's the early 30s.
It's about 90 years,
yes. I know, if I'm not mistaken, I think 1937 was like the golden year for the D-18.
So in any case, come and visit us to really enjoy this, and thank you for watching, all your support and comments, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Cheers.